Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome back to the start of a new season of Conquering the Euro on Football Manager 2021. With Everton, it is the start of Season 9 and in today's episode we will play the Community Shield at Wembley. Two games in 2 episodes at Wembley, that's a bit of luck, isn't it? And then we go away to Bramall Lane for the first match of the Premier League season against Sheffield United. Now, I'm going to be blatantly honest here, it's not been a massively busy summer. I'd have liked to have offloaded a few players, but to be brutally honest, what I wanted to get for these players and what other clubs were offering was just way out of what I wanted. So I thought, well, you know what, they can stay as backup players, and as such, I think we've got a really good deep squad now. I've just been assembling the team for this United game and I thought, blimey, there's some real good talent here that miss out on even being on the bench. So I think that's a sign of a really good squad. It's something that I'm a little bit uncomfortable with. I don't like to have good players not playing. I'd like to have them out on loan somewhere, but I think depth is something we've struggled with. We've also made a few good depth signings, so quite happy with that. So we're going to start with the Community Shield. Obviously, I'd prefer to be the club that are playing in this who have won the Premier League, not the club who have won the FA Cup. There's something in my glasses. There we go, that's better. But with the club who's won the FA Cup, you know, the little steps, incremental steps. We are predicted, as usual, to not really finish anywhere in the league this year. We're predicted to finish 5th, but only 18-1 to win the league this year. It feels like the clubs are finally starting to respect us, and that a few good signings we brought in, we're going to have a very solid season. And fingers crossed, hopefully a title-winning one. So the big question, who have we brought in and who's gone out? Well, I'll show you. Let's go back to last season. But in fact, let's not go back to last season. Let me show you something first. I'm absolutely gutted about this. Jordan Pickford's retired. He had a brilliant season last time out. Made 450 appearances for Everton. Unfortunately, we can't see that now because he's just decided to retire as a player and retire as everything, not even come as a coach, which surprises me because he'd have been a really good asset to the team. But he just come to me after the FA Cup and said, I want to retire. I was like, God. We were looking for a backup goalkeeper anyway because we needed a second choice. But I thought, right, we've got to go out and buy 2 goalkeepers. So our captain and our mainstay for the duration of this save has gone. How that's going to affect us, I'm really not sure. We have yet to select a new captain. As you can see, there's no captain currently. My plan is to promote Ben Godfrey to the captaincy. Looking at who's going to be the vice-captain, I don't really want it to be Vandenberg because he could go potentially. I may be looking at someone potentially like Livramento because he is a team leader. Maybe as well Diego Almeida. His leadership's 14. It's probably going to be Almeida who's going to be the vice-captain going forward. But we'll look at that before the season starts in the first match against Sheffield United. So transfers-wise, of course, we had to react to that. You know, that's inevitable. So the first player we brought in was a player from Fulham. So we'll go with the script. You know, we'll make it this nice and methodical. We brought in Diego Costa, not that one, from Bayern Munich, 30 years of age, to replace Jordan Pickford. It's cost us a hefty 25.5 million, but he's been around. He's played for some top European clubs: Porto, Monaco, Leipzig, and Bayern Munich. He's proved his trade in 3 of the big European leagues. Done decently for these clubs. He looks like a good player. Got all good stats. And I think for the next 4, 5, even 6 years, he's going to be our mainstay keeper. So I'm happy we signed him, a good keeper. Pickford was a great keeper, and if we'd have got a mediocre one, like we saw with Chris McEwen, then ultimately, you know, we're going to ship goals. And actually, Chris actually went out to Manchester City. Went out for, albeit a small fee of £500,000. They've obviously signed him as a backup keeper, which, again, he's not a bad backup keeper. Didn't play badly for us, to be honest. You know, 9 games, 15 conceded, 6.84 average. Not terrible, but he was in the last year of his contract, and I thought, well, if we're getting rid of one, we might as well have a clear out and get rid of both. So Chris has got to Man City. We've made 4 other signings. We've made a new backup goalkeeper signing. We've brought in James Okonkwo from Fulham as a backup goalkeeper. He was the original replacement for Chris McEwen. And to be fair, James has got, again, a horrible name I don't know how to pronounce. I don't know why I keep doing this. But he's got some good championship experience, played for Fulham, played a few games in the Premier League. He looks like a standard backup goalkeeper. The problem with keepers sometimes is that you can bring in a keeper that's almost too good to be a backup. Like we saw with Lucas Lavallee last year, when he came in and after 2 games said, I'm not playing, I want to leave. And that's the problem. So we've got James in there. I think he could certainly do a job in the Cup. And, you know, he's got that experience as well, which Chris didn't have. Moving on to stuff after the June window. Then, of course, we brought in Costa. And then in July, we had 2 agreed transfers that were previously agreed. Now, Diego Royon is of the same ilk of Hamilton Sierra. Brilliant scouting work done by our team. As you can see, he's played 32 matches in Uruguay and scored 18 goals. And this looks like a pretty good kid. We bought him in for free, and he looks like a world beater. He really does. 18 dribbling, 18 first touch, 16 technique, 16 teamwork, 16 composure, 16 flair. If Robin van den Berg is to leave, then I think we've got a replacement in Diego Royon. He looks an absolute beast. He's very much going to be an understudy to Robin van den Berg this year, getting the odd chance, but, what a signing. When I saw that player, I thought, well, we've got to sign him. He's on 40k a week, nothing ridiculous. 5-year contract, absolute no-brainer. We've also bought in on a free transfer. This was someone who was recommended to us by our scouts in June. Wahib Yousfi. And as I said before, we wanted players that are going to be depth players, and this is exactly what this player is. Got plenty of experience in Italy, played for Inter Milan, Bologna, Udinese, started off at Monaco in their youth ranks, and he looks like a pretty decent player. He scores a few goals, 6 free, 8 goals. It's not too bad at all, really, is it? Again, he's a winger, fairly versatile, can play in the centre attacking midfield, can play up front, and he's very much a backup player. And looking at one player who's getting on a bit now is Reece Nelson, and I see Wahib as coming in as a replacement for him, in effect, to be a depth player. He's not brilliant, he's a good player though, he's got some very good stats, and who knows, if he gets a chance in the first team, again, it's another depth signing, but at worst, he's a very good profit player. Final signing then is Jean-Christophe Dumortier, the Frenchman from Toulouse. Now again, this was another one my scouts recommended, and very much just a depth player. Looks a solid player, 23 years of age, more of a defensive midfielder, can also play in the central midfield. Some very good stats as well. He's cost us 7.75 million with a potential cost of 11 million. So, a drop in the ocean, really. Got plenty of experience for the French team. Toulouse has played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons now. So, to only be 23 and to have played for 8 seasons, you can't be a bad player. Incredible, really, to have 253 first team appearances on your card at the age of 23. That is incredible, really, if you think about it, for any side. So he looks like a good player, a good backup player at least. Solid signing, really. Other players that have gone out, we've only had one free transfer, and that's Alfredo Gonzalez, one of our backups, and again, just wasn't good enough. We've sent a few players out on loan. One that's fairly significant is Sam Atkinson. He was a player that I was trying to get rid of at the end of last year. He did go out on loan to Turkey, and my aim there was to boost his value. But he's not a bad player at all, but really he's a championship player. He is valued at 13 million. I wanted something approaching 20 for him, and clubs were coming in with offers of 7, 8, and I thought this is just stupid, especially for an English player with that homegrown bonus. I thought, no, that's ridiculous. So with the arrival of the right winger, who's the right winger? Isn't it embarrassing? I've just brought him in and I forgot. Wahib Yousfi. With his arrival, I thought, well, you might as well go out on loan again, get more experience. He's only 23, remember, so Sam Atkinson's still a very young player. Let's compare the two, actually, while we're here. As you can see, very similar. Wahib probably a little bit better overall. That's why we've bought him in. And again, a real obvious signing to make for free. So that's it in terms of the ins and outs, really. There's nothing really to comment on too much. If we look at released players, I think there was a few youngsters that went out the door. But again, nobody significant. So we have got a good side. We definitely have got a good side. If you look at this, we've got 2 good goalkeepers. The defence looks really good now. We've got Jean-Christophe, who can also play at centre-back. Obviously, Messina can play at right-back. We've got some good youngsters coming through, the likes of Paulo Ricardo, who we signed last year. Again, he should be a player that should be good at right-back. We've got Scott West in the midfield. Again, a good backup option. Richard McRae, good backup option. O'Shane Folks, who looks like an absolute tank. He's got some interest from America. I'd actually prefer him to go out on loan in this country, but it doesn't seem to happen. But at the age of 18, he looks pretty good and looks to be a real star for the future. And then we've got Alex Allen, who I want to get rid of as well. Unfortunately, clubs aren't interested in playing how much he's worth. And I think he is definitely worth that amount. He's had some good football 2 years out on loan. But again, another good backup player on that left wing. So we've got a very strong squad. One player that I feel doesn't really fit is this man, Josh Hope. I struggle to see where he fits in now because we bought in Royon. Again, he's below Van den Berg, Royon, Lorenzo, probably even Benito Owen as a striking option. So he's a good player, but really he's fifth choice up front. And the problem with him is, where all the other players have versatility, they play in the attacking midfield and up front, Josh Hope only plays up front. And that's his problem. But again, we tried to get rid of him, and clubs came in with stupid offers, 16 million, 17 million. No! He's worth far more than that. So he's going to stay in and around the squad. We have met the registration rules, which I was actually surprised at. But we've got that many youngsters that we don't have to register under 21s. You can see we've got 1 in Wilbraham, 2 in Ricardo, 3 in Folks, 4, 5 in Sierra and Royon. And we've got 5. So, we've got 4 more players than we should do technically. But we have got what I think is a very strong side. Shall we get cracking for the season then? We start the Community Shield against Man United. So I'm going to be really boring here. No changes from the team that were in last year, apart from one biggie. And that, of course, is Diego Costa starting in the net. Hopefully he has a good start for us. I'm really looking forward to this season. As I said, I just want to stay here till we win the league now. It's taking a bit of a while, but, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. It took more than what I've wanted it to, but I think I've been happy with the squad for a few years. As I said last year, I know we bottled it at the end of the season, but I'll tell you something. You're going to struggle to beat Man United last year. I think they got 95, 96 points. You're going to struggle to beat that with any side. But I'm really happy with the squad. I have been for a few years, but this year more than anything, just because of the depth we've now got in the squad. We've got real strength in depth if we have a few injuries, and I think that's going to be really beneficial. Now, I haven't spoke much about the significance of this game because, to be honest, I really couldn't care less about the Community Shield. It's a great trophy to win, and because we're playing against Manchester United, who are our big rivals in the league, it would be great to go and beat them. But as long as we keep this respectable, if we lose 1, 2-0, really doesn't matter. What we're looking for is in the second game of the episode to get a good start to the Premier League. But it's a cool match. It's not one you see every day, I suppose. Obviously, we haven't won a cup competition or the FA Cup. That's why we haven't been in this. There's our first glimpse of Diego Costa in the goal. Can't believe Pickford's retired, really. 36 for a keeper isn't that old, I don't think. He could have gone on for a few more years yet. He had, probably last year, I think, his best year yet. So it's really strange why he's decided to retire, but fair dues to him. He has retired. Obviously, he was getting sick of the game in some way, but I must admit, I'd have liked a bit of advance notice. Really would. It was kind of a month before he retired. I'm off, and we need somebody to replace him. I'll tell you what, we're on top in this match, which is pleasing, and Vandenberg has very nearly put us 1-0 up. We've had a few chances whilst I've been talking there, and we very much look like we're on top against Man United, which is great to see. No changes, as I've said, apart from the keeper. But what we did have the problem of last year, particularly the second half of this year, was that Pickford was out injured, of course, till the end, apart from that FA Cup tie, which he was back for in the end. And we also had Ben Godfrey out for a while, who was our vice-captain. To have both your captain and your vice-captain out, it's never going to help. And because we've got a young squad as well, it just feels like a triple whammy. Not to have that leadership, I think it really harmed us. To have it again, fourth, we had a young keeper in the net who'd had no first team experience before. To finish off third in the league, I think we did very well. I really did think we did well there. Costa with a 7 out of 10. We are dominating Man United, 60% of possession. I feel like we ought to go for a more attacking formation because we are clearly the better side, making the most of it here. And we definitely have made the most of it. It's an assist from Diego Almeida, and Robin Vandenberg gets his first goal of the season. Now, Vandenberg scored, I think, 36 in all competitions last year, and I think was voted the second best European striker in the world, only second to the man there, Federico Canini, who's a bit of a beast for Manchester United. But it looks like he is a great player, Vandenberg. We've got a good support network around him. Hamilton Sierra, of course, bring brilliant. We're looking to bring Diego Royan onto the squad. And obviously, we've got the likes of Deji Satona, Lorenzo. We've got such good talent on the bench, which it's crazy to think how much talent we've got. And surely we've got enough coverage for injuries this year, which is fantastic. That really helps us. But I'm going to tone this down to just our positive tactic now, because I appreciate that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have said to the players at half-time, right, you need to get into this match. But I was going to say, it would have been perfect timing to say, well, it hasn't made any difference because it's 2-0 to the Ev, but not quite. We are playing really well, though. I know it's only the Community Shield. It's one of those competitions that if you lose, it's only the Community Shield. If you win it, woo, trophy. 2 trophies in 2 games. It's very much one of those. But we have by far been the better side so far. There's no doubt about that. We've had the goal. We've had the far better XG. So we are looking really good. Funny, isn't it, how Benito Owen came in. And I wasn't too sure about him when we did bring him in. It was a strange one. We brought him in a year and a half ago now. And at the time I thought, I'm not too sure about him. You know, I think Deji Satona will play well. But he had a really good start to his Everton career. And from them, he's just become a first-team staple. And I feel really sorry for Deji Satona because he's a very solid player. But just he can't get into the first team over Owen. So I guess it's just going to be rotational. And playing in the Champions League once again, playing in the Cups, playing in the League, we could do with some rotation. We brought on Paulo Ricardo in place of Livramento just to give him a bit of a rest. And Lewis Bates come on for Kenny Taylor. Remember, of course, this has been a World Cup summer. So some players, the likes of Hamilton, Van den Berg. I mean, Benito Owen didn't get picked, which is a travesty for England. But some of the players have been out on international duty, so they're going to be a bit tired. That, I would guess, is going to be a red... Oh, maybe not. I thought it was just one of those typical highlights where it was going to be a red card for the Man United player. But the more this match goes on, the more this is feeling like Man United are going to get back into it. And you just know with FM, don't you? You just know. You play the game so much that you just get an inkling for these sort of chances. You really do. I'm going to bring Satona on for Benito Owen. Man United have been this better team this half. There's no question about that. I'd be very disappointed if we go from what was dominating the game at 60% of possession at one point to losing this. But a good hoof forward from Juan Larios. It's not really led to anything, unfortunately. Man United back on the attack. Solken, great tackle from Solken. Ricardo, Almeida. This is good passing. Can we find the break? We certainly can with Messina, but it's a little bit too hard, and that's not going to trouble the goalkeeper at all. Yeah, I've just got a funny feeling that United are going to go and win this. But a shocking pass from Canini. So Deji Satona gets on the ball. Doesn't have many chances to impress, but he might do here. Puts the ball into Robin van den Berg, who makes it 2-1. This game very much was going in the direction of a Manchester United win, but an excellent bit of play here from Satona. He created the goal. Robin van den Berg scored it, sure, but Satona made all of it. An excellent cross. Van den Berg, it's a very rare occasion this, but Van den Berg gets his head on it and puts it in the back of the Manchester United net. And it's just one of those classic results that you can say, you know, it's just, no, we beat them. It's just one of the, I don't care what it's in. It's just one of them. We've beat Man United. You know, that's something to be proud of. Hamilton Sierra to make sure of it. No, it's still 2-1. We have started to waste time a bit now. Can we make 4 changes? I certainly will make 4 changes then. I thought we could only make 3 changes. That's why I've only made them. But it looks like we're going to win the Community Shield, which is excellent news. Again, it's a trophy. I'll take it. And it's a win against Manchester United. So, we hadn't had a trophy in nigh on 10 years of the save. Of course, we started the first 2 years at Wolves, so this is season 9, but technically it's season 11 because we had 2 years at Wolves that preceded this save, and we hadn't won a trophy. But for the first time, well, for the second time in 2 games, we've won a trophy. I don't know who that is lifting the trophy, because it's certainly not Ben Godfrey. I don't know who that is lifting the trophy. I'm not too sure about that. Could be Benito Owen potentially, or maybe Satona, I suppose. But great stuff. You know, it's a trophy. I'll take it. Really good stuff. We beat Man United 2-1. Congrats, lads. Hopefully that gives him a bit of a boost, which would be excellent to see. Again, Costa made his debut. Did very, very well, which is awesome to see. We win the Community Shield. When was the last time Everton... I mean, it's got to be... Yeah, the last time they won the Community Shield was when they beat Blackburn in 1996. Excellent stuff. So, we'll be back in just a minute. Nice way to start the season. But we've got another start now, a second start to the season going away to Bramall Lane. And hopefully, if we play similarly to that, should be a good 3 points to start the season off with. We are here then at Bramall Lane for the start of the 2030 to 2031 Premier League season. We are officially 10 years in the future now. That is slightly scary. Just 2 changes from the team that played against Manchester United. We've got Demortier making his debut today, the Frenchman that we signed, the defensive midfielder, in place of Michelangelo Messini because he picked up an injury between matches. And Pat Meyer starts instead of Livramento because Livramento picked up a bit of a niggle as well. I'm going to tell the lads that I expect to win. We've gone with our more attacking formation. Hopefully, we can continue in the same vein that we did against Manchester United. We played very well against Man United. It's no coup in effect. It's nothing easy to go and beat United. So I hope we continue in the same vein against Sheffield United. But these things have a very funny way of happening and going against you. De Mortier on the ball. Well, 7 minutes in here. Lovely ball from Owen out wide to the other wing to Salkin. Salkin in the box. Henry Lawrence, one of our former players, of course, who went to Sheffield United for £20 million last year. Might have just given us a penalty here. It looked like a bit of a strange one. David Coote is reviewing the footage, and it's not a penalty, apparently. Apparently, Harrison Salkin dived, but no comment about David Coote, shall we? Let's keep my opinions on him fairly muted today. Benito Owen puts the ball forward. It seems to be a bit too direct for me. This is one of the problems I'm having here looking at this. But that's a shocking pass from the Sheffield United man. Taylor, can he make something happen? De Mortier, Sierra, back to De Mortier, Taylor, Sierra, Taylor again, Salkin, Vandenberg. He gets the opening goal of the season. I'm going to go back to our more defensive formation because it seems that we might be exposing ourselves a bit too much playing, too attacking, I think, even against Sheffield United. Good start, though. Looks like De Mortier and Taylor have got the midfield nicely ticking. Good assist from Salkin to get him started. He made 11 assists last year. Vandenberg scored, I think, 26 goals in the Premier League. It's fair to say that we've got some very good attacking players, and hopefully Diego Costa can play well in the net and keep us watertight at the back as well. De Mortier, Taylor, he's very involved. Taylor to Vandenberg, 2 goals in 11 minutes for Vandenberg, and in the space of, 101 minutes, he's scored 4 goals. That isn't a bad return, and it looks like it's going to be a very good start for us to the Premier League season. Now, the early game was Man United against Reading, and Man United did win 3-1. The thing that did make me smile was that Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored for Reading, of course, the former player that played for Everton. I can't remember where he went. He left before I took control of Everton, but it feels like he went somewhere like Dortmund or a fairly good European club. So how he's ended up at Reading now, I'm not exactly sure. Against nothing against Reading, but it seems like a very bizarre career trajectory. De Mortier through to Vandenberg. Surely he's not going to get a hat-trick on the first game of the season, is he? Vandenberg, is he going to put it back here? Vandenberg into the box. Ooh, I mean, Sierra was going to struggle at that angle to score, but still, some good football played, very attacking football. Sheffield United, to be honest, haven't really offered much. And if we can get a clean sheet out of this football match, then I'll be chuffed. 2 wins to start the season off. 3 points here. We've got Leicester up next. That should be a winnable match. I think we've got a fairly good start to the Premier League season. As we don't want to do what we did last year, because last season we had a really bad start to the season. That's why we were playing catch-up, and I think that's why we almost lost faith in the title race. We never really put significant pressure on Manchester United. That's what we're looking to do this year by having a good start and hopefully carrying that on. Try not to have a blip mid-season, and I think the injuries caused that last year. So that's why we're trying to have more of a deep side. Sheffield United very nearly getting a goal there. A bit more depth, and I think we're on to a good one. Very good stuff. Very delighted with the way that things are going. Sheffield United have got a classic record against us of 0-0s, which was why I was a bit worried of showing this match, to be honest. But 3-0 to us. Certainly not going to be a clean sheet for Sheffield United today. Certainly not going to be a 0-0. It looks like it's going to be a good win for us. I potentially do risk being a bit complacent here and them scoring 3 in 40 minutes. But from what they've offered in the first 50 minutes, I can't see Sheffield United scoring 1, let alone 3. That could come back to bite me, really could. But let's see. Kenny Taylor, De Mortier. He's done really well, by the way. He's been really involved, so that's great to see. Again, a lot of experience for a young age, and you're obviously a good player if you've played 200-odd games at the age of 23. Owen, Vandenberg, shoots! Hat-trick for Vandenberg on the first day of the season. That is absolutely fantastic. Don't think there's any issue of him continuing his good form from last year. Again, I think we can make a claim here for if he has another brilliant season, he might just be the best striker in Europe. And I think for Everton to keep hold of him, obviously after we've won the league with Everton, we haven't really got a long-term future with them. But we have to say that for Everton to keep hold of Vandenberg, they've got to go and win the league. Or sorry, we've got to go and win the league this year. I do think that my plan is, if we win the league this year, I don't really see anything massive coming up because it's not a World Cup season. So I think we might struggle to get a good job, and there's no point leaving here to go somewhere that's that's kind of average, I guess, a bit mediocre, if you want to call it that. I want a challenge. I don't want to just jump in somewhere that's going to be easy to do something with. You know, I don't really want to go to a PSG or a Bayern Munich or a Barcelona. I don't really see the point in that. But I do want to go somewhere like Dortmund, maybe, like Marseille, or I'm trying to think of another example, I guess Atletico Madrid. A good right side, but not specifically the best side in the league. Because, of course, the objective that I feel like I'm saying to myself here is to win 3 domestic league titles. And if we can win with Everton, I think we give it another year, because the best jobs will probably come about after the World Cup. But if we do take a job with someone like Barcelona, I don't really keep track of the other leagues, but like we've seen with Liverpool in this save and Manchester City, they aren't the top teams in the league anymore. So it might just be the case that actually a club like Barcelona might not be as good as it anymore. I mean, I wanted a good start to this Premier League season, but a 5-0 victory against Sheffield United certainly sets out our stall at saying, well, you know, come at us, Man United. Absolutely fantastic start. 3 goals for Vandenberg, 1 for Solcombe, 1 for Benito Owen. A clean sheet as well. Can't be better. Can't be better. And it's one of those classics that, it's too easy this game is, and I'll come back. I don't know why we've lost 3 games in a row. I don't get this, but brilliant start to our Premier League season. No question about that. We've gone top of the league. Hopefully that's where we'll stay. We've got Leicester, Newcastle and Watford again. Hopefully 3 wins in 3. And I think we'll come back for Chelsea and Tottenham. Now, we'll probably have a first Champions League game in there as well in that gap. So we'll either do Chelsea in the Champions League game, or if the Champions League game is nothing special, then Chelsea and Tottenham. But again, should be another good season. Damien Duff's at Leicester. That is excellent. Have Leicester sacked their manager or something? Yeah, they have. Tim Flowers. Right, okay, they haven't sacked him. He's gone to England. So Damien Duff in temporary charge then. That's brilliant. I hope he's in charge for the match against us. That would be absolutely excellent. But I hope you guys are going to enjoy this season. I think it's going to be a good one, and fingers crossed we can get our hands on the Premier League title this time round. If we play anything like we did against Sheffield United there, we've certainly got a chance. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please make sure to leave a like if you do. These first episodes of seasons tend to get the most views, so it'd be great if you could leave a like. That always helps the algorithm, etc, etc, and more people can see it, and hopefully more people will come along for the ride this year. Leave a comment as well if you enjoyed, and if you haven't done already, subscribe for regular Football Manager 21 content released on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday at 6 PM. Thank you for your company today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.